All right. Welcome to Oprah's Next Chapter. I am your host, the one and only Oprah Winfrey. Now, today is a very special day. We have a special visitor with us today. And this episode is going to be international, and I will be interviewing a remarkable American writer. His name will be discreet for now. But you can tweet us the questions for your interview to Oprah. Please tweet us your name and the state you're from. If you're out of the country, please tweet us your name and the country you're from. But the person we have today is very special. He has never agreed to an interview before, and he's agreed to come internationally. And please give a warm round of applause for Mr. Jerome Salinger. Good afternoon, Mr. Salinger. Before we begin with the questions, Mr. Salinger wrote a great novel called The Catcher in the Rye, and I felt that was worth mentioning. The questions are rolling in, and Jonah from Idaho asked, can we expect new work from you in the future?
You'll have to wait and see, Jonah.
That answers your question, Jonah. The next question is from Stephanie, who's from Montana. Who was your inspiration to become a writer?
I admired the work of F. Scott Fitzgerald and Ernest Hemingway. They were my idols as a child.
Yeah, both of them are pretty prominent figures in American literature, so it's not surprising how they are your idols. And I have a question for you. Do you refer to any of these people in your stories?
Actually, in The Catcher in the Rye, I refer to the works of both F. Scott Fitzgerald and Ernest Hemingway.
All right. Ricardo from Texas has a question about The Catcher in the Rye. He asked, what makes The Catcher in the Rye so controversial?
I believe it's the adult themes in the novel that are included, like some profanity, promiscuity, and immorality. But these are all part of Holden's character, and he's what makes the book what it is.
All right. That was a pretty eloquent answer for Ricardo. Our next question comes from Dishnakwash, who's from Maine. He's asking, who are the proponents of the censorship of your novel?
I believe teachers, libraries, and parents all are proponents of my novel and who express concern about the book's content.
Yep. And it might be questionable. They might think for some kids. The next question comes from James, who's from Florida. He's asking, why do people want to censor your novel?
Well, the novel includes some offensive language and explicit content which may be considered unsuitable for the age group that is in question.
Who believes that the book should not be censored?
Students, literary critics, and many people who know the true meaning of the book are my supporters, like you and me.
Yeah, of course. I'm a big fan of the novel. Zabitha from Zimbabwe asks, why do people not want to censor your novel?
Well, I think some people know who Holden truly is, and the opponents are only looking at what he is on the outside. But I remember reading a review, and they were describing Holden, and they said, but these are merely the devils that try him externally. Inside, his spirit is intact.
Yes, I think this is a perfect way to describe Holden's character in a nutshell. And another international question, and this is probably our last question for the day. Chatur Ramalingam from India asks, why do you think people should not censor the novel? Like, he wants to know what you think.
Well, although there are many reasons people have found to censor the novel, there are also many reasons why people are still reading it today. Holden is a relatable character. Many high schoolers, they send me letters and they say, oh, Holden is like, I find Holden so relatable, and I find that so touching to my heart. And the rejection, struggle, and even the judgment he does, they're all part of life. And the way I wrote it was different from most of the books that are on the shelves these days. I focused on character development rather than the plot development, so it's much different, and it's a great way to learn about literature.
I agree. This truly is a fantastic book, and I encourage all of you to pick up a copy. And in fact, I will be selling signed copies after the program today. I encourage everyone to pick one up and read it. It is a great novel, and I'm sure a lot of you will like it. Well, unfortunately, this is the end of our interview. Thank you, everyone, for sending out those questions, and thank you, Mr. Salinger, for your time.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you for having me.
Yep. But for the rest of you, stay tuned. We have Lady Gaga's big announcement next.